The first law of any vault is silence, not the gentle hush of a library, but a deep, pressurized quiet, the kind felt at the bottom of the ocean. It was a silence Leo had come to know intimately over the past 72 hours. A silence broken only by the metronomic click of his own tools and the frantic drumbeat of his heart in his ears. He was suspended in that silence now, upside down like a bat, held in a custom-made harness inches above the cold, polished steel of the final door. The air was thin and recycled, smelling of ozone and cold metal. Before him was the heart of the First Merchant Bank of Boston, the Chorley Vault. It wasn't a bank vault for money. It was a black box for the ultra-rich, a place to store the things too valuable, too dangerous, or too secret for a safety deposit box. And Leo's team was here to crack it. "Talk to me, Maestro," a voice murmured in his earpiece, so soft it was almost a part of his own thoughts. It was Anya, their eyes and ears sitting in a van 3 blocks away, her screens a mosaic of the city's security feeds, all looped and serene. "Your vitals are spiking. You breathing?" "I'm working," Leo whispered back, the words barely an exhalation. His fingers, sheathed in non-conductive carbon fiber gloves, were a blur of precise motion. The panel he'd exposed wasn't mechanical. It was a quantum lock keypad, a prototype so advanced it was barely theoretical. It didn't just read the code, it read the intent of the person inputting it, measuring biofeedback to detect coercion or error. This was why they'd needed Cassius. "The 7th digit is a lie," Cassius's voice, calm and academic, filled his ear. Leo could picture him in the dusty, book-lined safe house, surrounded by half-empty coffee cups and sheets of covered calculations. "The algorithm presents a false prime. You must input the inverse of what it suggests. It's a test of faith." "A test of faith," Leo muttered, sweat beading on his forehead despite the 55-degree chill of the vault anteroom. "In a bank vault? Of course it is." He entered the number. The keypad glowed a soft, approving green. A series of heavy thunks echoed through the chamber as 12 titanium bolts, each as thick as a man's wrist, retracted simultaneously. With a sigh of equalizing pressure, the 18-inch thick door began to swing inward, silently on its magnetic bearings. "We're ein," Leo breathed. The interior was anticlimactic. No piles of gold or stacks of cash, just walls of identical, numbered, brushed aluminum drawers. The real treasure was inside them. Data drives containing enough blackmail to topple governments, deeds to private islands purchased under shell companies, the chemical formula for a drug that could erase memory, the priceless and the profane, all sitting in silent, cold storage. "Right on schedule," Anya said. "You have 17 minutes until the next air pressure integrity check. The Ghost won't hold past that." The Ghost was their name for the sophisticated AI program Cassius had written to live in the bank's security system, a digital phantom that showed empty hallways and closed doors on every feed while Leo danced in the heart of the fortress. Leo moved to drawer 734, their target. It belonged to a shadowy syndicate known only as the Consortium. Inside was a single, unmarked black crystal data drive. The payload, the reason for all of this. He inserted the custom decryption key, another of Cassius's creations, into the port below the drawer. The lock disengaged with a soft click. And then the world exploded in light and sound. Red strobes erupted from the ceiling, casting the sterile room in a hellish, pulsating glow. A deafening, undulating siren screamed, designed to disorient and paralyze. "Anya!" Leo yelled, snatching the drive and slamming the drawer shut. "It's not me," she shot back, her voice tight with panic. "The Ghost. It just vanished. The system rebooted. It's a total lockdown. Leo." They knew. His blood ran cold. They'd been played. This wasn't a security feature. It was a trap. "Cassius, talk to me. What happened?" Static. Then, a new voice, smooth and laced with cold amusement, crackled over the comms. It wasn't Cassius. "Leo Pizarro, the man who talks to locks. We've been waiting for you." They had Cassius. The thought was an ice pick to his spine. The mathematician was their linchpin, their genius. Without him, they were blind and trapped. The primary exit is swarming with internal security, Anya said, her voice a forced calm. They're armed. They're not bank guards, Leo. They're paramilitary. The secondary, Leo said, already moving, stuffing the drive into a shielded pouch inside his suit. The old pneumatic mail chute. It hasn't been used in 50 years. It's a one-way drop into a sealed room in the basement. It's that or a firefight we can't win. He ripped a vent cover off the wall, revealing a wide, dusty brass tube, just wide enough for a man. He didn't hesitate. He launched himself headfirst into the darkness. It was a terrifying, disorienting plunge down a slick, corroded metal tube. He bounced off the sides, his world a whirl of darkness, and the scream of metal on his harness. He shot out of the end and landed in a heap on a pile of forgotten mail sacks, the impact knocking the wind from his lungs. He was in a sub-basement, a tomb of forgotten bank machinery. The only light came from the emergency strips on the floor. Anya, I'm in the mailroom. I need a path. There isn't one, she cried. The entire grid is red. They're flooding the building. Leo's mind raced, discarding options. They were all dead ends. Then he saw it. A maintenance placard on the wall next to a large pipe, covered in grime, but still legible. City Main. Potable water. 48. Diam, the city water main. It ran right under the bank. He grabbed a heavy pipe wrench from a nearby tool cart and went to work on the large bolts of the access hatch. They were rusted shut. He strained, every muscle screaming, the sirens a constant hammer to his senses. They're one floor above you, Anya warned. 30 seconds. With a final gut-wrenching heave, the last bolt sheared off. Leo yanked the hatch open. A torrent of ice-cold water exploded into the room, knocking him off his feet. He was staring into a dark, rushing tunnel, a subterranean river under the city of Boston. It was a suicide run. The current was immense, the darkness absolute. He heard the door to the mailroom splintering behind him. There was no choice. Leo took a last, gasping breath and plunged into the torrent. The cold was a physical shock. The current seized him immediately, tumbling him end over end in the blackness. He was a leaf in a hurricane, utterly powerless. He fought the urge to panic, to breathe, conserving his oxygen as he was carried blindly through the city's bowels. He had no idea how long he was under. His lungs burned. Spots danced before his eyes. Just as he felt his consciousness slipping, the current spat him out. He crashed into a metal grate, the impact brutal but life-saving. Gasping, choking on water, he pulled himself up onto a concrete ledge. He was in a large overflow chamber, light filtering down from a street grate high above. He was miles from the bank. He lay there, shivering, the drive still secure in his inner pocket. He'd done it. He'd gotten out. A slow, deliberate clapping echoed through the chamber. Leo froze, his blood colder than the water he'd just escaped. A figure stepped out of the shadows near a service ladder. It was the man from the comms. He wore an impeccably tailored suit, untouched by the damp. He wasn't holding a weapon. He didn't need to. Two larger men flanked him, their posture screaming professional threat. "A truly spectacular performance, Mr. Pizarro," the man said, his voice echoing in the cavernous space. "The Chorley Vault has repelled 17 attempts in 10 years. You are the first to even reach the inner door, let alone escape with the prize." Leo said nothing, his mind scrambling. "My employer is impressed, and my employer would like to make you an offer." "Where's Cassius?" Leo growled, water dripping from his chin. "The mathematician? He is perfectly safe, and quite wealthy. His calculations for bypassing the quantum lock were, as you know, flawless. His payment, however, was not for the calculations. It was for you." The truth landed like a hammer blow. Cassius hadn't been caught. He'd sold them out. The entire heist, the planning, the execution had been an audition, orchestrated from the beginning. "We don't want the drive, Leo," the man said, gesturing dismissively at Leo's chest. "That's a trifle. A test. We want the man who could steal it. We have a job for you. A real one." He smiled, a thin, predatory expression. "The Fort Knox of data. The real impossible heist. Think of it not as a robbery, but a recruitment. Welcome to the big leagues." He extended a hand, not to help Leo up, but to take the drive. Leo looked at the hand, then at the dark, rushing water, then back at the man's cold, confident eyes. The silence down here was different. It wasn't the silence of a vault. It was the silence before a storm. He had just pulled off the most brilliant heist of his life, only to discover he was the one who had been stolen. And the real job was just beginning.